What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to Battle World's Kronos. We are playing mission number 3, Retaliation, and things are going not necessarily like according to plan, but I think things are adaptable at this point. I have made some mistakes. I've been thinking about this game a lot in my free time. It's weird how when you LP games, you end up just like thinking about, especially strategy games, you start thinking about them all the time, sort of just daydreaming. And I've been thinking about our configuration right here for a couple of days now. And in fact, I think I did a little bit of research, and you do actually have to have resources in these buildings in order for them to actually restock and repair your units. So what I may do is I may actually take all 120 of these and drop them. You'll remember in the last episode we grabbed all the resources from down here, although I did leave some. There's still 66 in here. I am going to drop, I think, most of the resources in here so that my units can just jump in there, get repaired, and come back to this front line. Now, I don't know how much we're going to need to make a push on this base down here, but I think this is going to be our next goal down here in the south. So, without worrying about it too much, I would actually really prefer to pull back some of these units. And as always, make a line with what I have. There we go. And so now we've actually got a nice little line that should keep people out of our business. I was thinking about it, and these guys might swing to the south, which would be a big problem for us. The other major issue is going to arise where they've attacked us from this direction once, and if they keep attacking this front while simultaneously hitting this front, it's going to be very sticky to attack this location while suffering blows from here. I mean, obviously, we have that pipeline right there, but this seems to be fairly well protected. They've got 4 or 5 units down in here, and I simply don't feel like I have the forces to divert at the moment to get down there. Now, I could be completely and totally wrong. I could be evaluating the situation improperly. Clearly, it wouldn't be the last time or the first time. But for now, we've got nothing left to do, so let's bypass the turn. I got butterflies right now. I don't know what the AI is going to do, but we're going to find out. Okay, and so they're actually going to allow our defenses to take shots at them, which is a good thing for us, because our defenses really haven't been getting that much use lately. For this guy, we want to get him the hell on out of the way. And so we're going to take artillery shots first at whoever we can lay them on. I think I'm going to fire at him. That seems alright. And unfortunately, we don't have a whole lot of flanking options right now. But we do have a lot of firing options. So I'm going to put a missile right there. How much ammo does he have? Only 1. Okay, so we need him to resupply. And I think we can do that through here. Let me jump into this, and we should be able to reload him. Yeah, there it is. So we've actually reloaded him entirely from the ammo stores that are there in that building. And so now I can take him and unload him back out, and he's ready for bear. With this thing, I think I need to put it in here. And I believe what I'd like to do now is unload 100 of its resources in there and maybe put like 20 down in this resource depot. Or maybe just put 20 in our factory. We've produced a lot of units right now, so I'm not ultra sold on what I want to do with all these guys. But let's take our shots here. And very cool, we managed to kill him off. And I think what I prefer to do at this point, I'm sort of wondering how I repair these turrets. If these turrets go down, my assumption is that that's pretty much that. So let's maybe think about putting one of our leveled elites in front of it. I'm going to have him come down here and take that shot right there. And since these units have to, absolutely 100% have to be within 1 to fire, I'll also line them up along the outskirts rather than keeping them on the inskirts, and we should be alright. This tank I needed to repair, so let's throw him on that repair node, and our Praetorian is looking mighty fine now. I should be able to bring him back down to the front line, and he should form our main vanguard. Now, I don't see us getting hit from this direction. I saw no movement, I saw no production, so I'm going to assume that it's at least slightly safe right now. This little base down here looks like it's ready to be attacked. So let's get people in motion to come down here. Artillery I don't think is going to be necessary, so let's just deploy him for the moment. And I think this one infantry down here is going to be the one that's going to be doing the capturing. I'm going to leave the remainder up here to defend this point, just in case the worst happens. And then we'll bring everybody else down along with this strike force. So these 6, I think these guys should definitely be able to handle any of these problems down here. I don't see any horrible things arising. We've got a nice blockade right here too, which is going to keep these infantry from getting all up in our business over the next little bit. How much ammo does he have left? 5? Okay, that works out. Who else can potentially move here? He looks like he needs repairs. So we're going to have to repair him on the next turn, but nobody else. This guy right here? Alright. Well, let's continue to make this line. After we wipe these guys out, I'll fall back one more time, maybe leaving this gap secured right here so that anything that goes into this corner catches the cannon. I didn't realize the cannon was going to take so much damage from such simple arms fire, so I'm a little worried about that as a long-term problem. I also don't know if there's a time limit on this level. It said we were potentially racing with somebody else, but it hasn't given me any indicator as to how long I have before the mission might end, so whatever. Let's keep this thing moving along. Oh, they did nothing. That's not actually a terrible thing. That could be a lot worse. So what I'd like to do here is we're going to take these bandits and we're going to put them out here and we're going to see what kind of damage we can do to these before we send anybody else to mess with them. Okay, so that infantry's fairly damaged. And then if I come down here and bombard him like so, I'll put him in the repair depot to repair. All you gotta do is do that right there, and that unit should be perfectly fine, although that took 36 resources, which was pretty major. We also want to repair that little truck right there, and we'll offload the remainder. And you can only repair so much per turn. That's something you want to keep in mind, is that you may have to do like a multi-turn repair. It's a system that I'm not a huge fan of, but it's something that can't be ducked, and it makes sense. So, you know, the more busted your stuff is, the longer it takes to fix. These guys are obviously going to hang out on the outskirts of the fight. Actually, unfortunately, I may not be able to seal the deal with any of these, so we'll have to kill them on the next turn. More importantly, down here we want to start rolling out and handling our business right here. I don't know if because he's trapped inside those sandbags, if he can actually move or not. Down here they're going to keep us by 2s, which is a problem. It means we can't really bring our full might to bear, or we can't bring our full might to aim, unfortunately. That's what I was concerned with, right there. So they do actually have a lot more down here than I had expected. So actually I may have to bring everything I have down to help out with this stuff. I can swoop through there. So I may want to bring a few more units down. This is definitely a resource-type mission. Hopefully some of them will come out and fight me right here. That's what I'm hoping for. The remainder of my units don't really have much else. Oh, I should probably bring the Praetorian down. And everybody else is looking like they're in a situation that's going to be remedied next turn. Although it looks like I forgot to move him. So let's kill off one of these guys. If I can avoid taking any attacks, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Oh, and I was going to say, I don't suppose that bike can get in there, but he can. So let's get that bike a little bit of XP, and on the next turn we'll fall back to our gun line again, and hopefully that'll be that. It seems like they've got endless resources. They just keep sending stuff at me, so I'm not really sure how to evaluate when their force is going to run out of oomph. But for now, it looks like they've got plenty of oomph in the tank. I'm going to bring this infantry down here to help out because everything looks sort of light that they had in this region. And I'll just leave the artillery here to hold this. I'll kind of keep them on the kind of on the back, I guess, and maybe see if I can jump them back in. I could mine this too, but I didn't think about it up until then. Let's bypass, and we'll see what they do. Oh good, they are going to come out and fight with us. Although I get the feeling they very much want me to get within range of their artillery. It seems like that is the general plan. They're going to try and hold back and get us in range there. Now, for this, I'd like everybody to be within a firing range of one of these cannons. And we can kind of just shift people around like we did in the last episode. Unfortunately, it looks like I am going to have to jump out every now and again. There we go, like a perfect line. My favorite. Let's have a look at this factory here and figure out what needs to be repaired. They're ready to go. So let's unload them. And they'll be ready to move next turn. We've got a good force. I'm just a little bit worried about how this whole thing is gonna end. I need to keep an eye on that artillery piece and figure out where the line of scrimmage is, for example. Like where I can get away with parking my units. So I think he can double fire. So there it is. I'm going to put him there, and him there, him right there. And this choke point is going to work to our advantage, kinda. He'll use one of his rockets to deal some damage to that vehicle. And actually, we've got a couple guys that can fire rockets, so maybe I moved badly. It's okay, though. I'm not that worried. And then from there, I think the range was right there. It's not lighting up even though I'm mousing over him, which is a problem. And to keep him from getting jumped by these guys, if they decide to turn around and take a pot shot at one of my units, I prefer to avoid that. Did anything move down here? During the next turn, I just need to stare at this and make... This is our big... We are wide open right now. We are just all over the net on this front, and that's going to be a big, big issue. If they... It's going to take 2 turns for him to get here. But if I have to fight along 2 fronts, it's going to make me incredibly... Well, I don't even have a word to describe it. It's going to make me sweaty, I guess. I'm going to need a shower after this episode if that's what goes down. Who else do I have here? Well, he can take a shot, although it's not going to be a well-placed shot. It's not going to do much damage at all. Is it because he's sandbagged in? Why is he taking so little damage from outside forces here? I'm going to continue to move them into an advantageous position. I don't really want to waste that shot if it's going to do so little damage. I could have put him right there and probably fired on that truck. Bad move on my end. Oh well. Let's make sure that everybody's okay. Everything's looking good. As for upgrades, did anybody get upgrades in the last fight? Doesn't look like it. I'm going to keep the... Actually, I should probably unload the truck just in case I forget about it. That's always... My mind... my mind is slippery. My mind is just constantly in a state of having been mopped, unfortunately. Let's see what happens here. So they're going to go for a flanking shot there. Not a terrible move. That's going to eat up... Yeah, so there comes the next attack. So I think they do actually have endless units right there. But here in the south, it looks like they don't actually produce in that fashion. So this is going to be our next target. We want to do a big old swoop-a-loop, if we can pull it off. Unfortunately, they look like they've taken all the equitable land here. Let me start dealing some damage to him. And now that we've got this guy flanked... Let's deal a bit of damage. There is a wreckage right there, and what I had wanted to do was once that infantry goes down, I had wanted to squeeze that position right there. It's not going to let me, though. He's still got 2 rockets left. Sometimes I forget that they can double fire, which is a very, very cool advantage to that unit. I'm going to allow him to take this position right here, because I think that's where he's going to move on the next turn, if he moves at all. His problem is that he's going to be rapidly flanked and spanked no matter what he does, and then we're going to try and duck inside the range of this artillery, wipe it out, and be on our way. We've got ranged units playing around right here. Luckily, this gun doesn't have... What is that? Why is there... What in the hell? Somebody's decal is stuck on my screen, hopefully not for the remainder of the level. That's a little bit of an irritating bug, but it's going to have to stay there, unfortunately. Maybe it'll vanish when it clears the UI. There we go, I cleared it. It was that unit right there. Okay. So everybody has done something. I don't think I can actually move anybody inside the range of that launcher yet. In fact, I think no matter what I do, I may have to actually duck in here with infantry and just start whittling away at it with the little guys since they can double move. Since everything is looking... I wish there was a guard mode you can put people in. I really do. Since we've got artillery, let's swap that bike out right there with a Cerberus. I think I'm actually going to scooch everybody by one. Keep him right there so that he's variable and he can move around the line. And they've never gone north through this quagmire as of yet, so I'm not even going to stress about it anymore. I'm going to assume that they're not going to come that way. Gun's taken far more damage than I would have liked. 22 damage to that thing is disappointing, especially since its fire rate... I'm sorry, its damage is going to go down over time. Let's go ahead and end the turn. We're going to wait for them to just keep filtering in. Little bit of damage taken. But I think we'll still be okay. With that massive flank right there. 40 damage from our unit. That was a really, really incredible strike. So now what I want to do is actually get infantry within range of this thing. I'm actually going to have them surround it and pound it. These guys right here can get within range, possibly? Yeah, cool. So we can actually expedite this process a tad. And that should be about... I realize he's not going to be able to take a shot from there. I should have moved one up. It's okay, though. Actually, can I kill him on this turn? I can. And so there it is. We've taken the southern base. So once we capture this, hopefully this has like 4 units in it. If it doesn't have a lot of units, I don't know what we're going to do with this base. Because look at the sheer volume of units they've got. It is quite nasty. It is looking quite cubic over here. Let's bypass the turn. We've got at least one more until our clash with them, and I'm okay with that. So as always, I think they're positioned out of range right now. Oh no, they're not. Okay, so we're going to deal with this combat. That'll probably be the last thing we do in this episode, is dealing with this big combat up here. But let's capture this building and take an inventory of what we're wrangling by grabbing it. So it looks like we've gotten ourselves an infantry. Ew. Okay. And it doesn't have nearly the supplies I was hoping it would have. I was really, really hoping this would be a full depot. And unfortunately, it was not. That places me in a predicament, because I think I am going to have to reallocate people from this northern front, which... Let's be fair. Let's be completely honest. This northern front is fairly well tended right now. So, I'm not... I can spare somebody. I can probably spare a hunter or two from up here, I think. I'm sorry, I can spare a bandit or two, or maybe an artillery or two. Like, maybe I'll spare this guy and focus on bringing down, like, 2 of these, maybe. Like, bring down 2 hunters and 1 of him and leave the tanks up here to deal with what they're dealing with. 3 Cerberuses, we should be okay. Let's bring everybody down and figure out what repairs we're looking at. So obviously I want everybody in here that's been damaged. Let's get these 2 into the depot. That guy's next. And we're going to press south right here. The reason being is that they've got barbed wire. And I think that if we press through this south, it's actually going to squeeze them in between that pillbox and force them to come at us in a weird direction. I am going to send a scout out here, and if he dies, no biggie. But I am going to send a scout to see if I can get a feel for what else is behind this shroud. I don't know if I should go for this base next or this base next. this one isn't producing anything to send at me, so I'm thinking it's this one that I want to hit. I remember him saying, like, the northern one we absolutely want to avoid, but actually it doesn't look like there's that much up here, unless it's all within the confines of this little region. So, just kind of the things that are running through my head right now as I try and figure out what's going on. For this combat, we want to start with the artillery fire. And I think I'm going to send the artillery back to there. Kind of deplete his ability to deal damage. Because he's out of the range of that unit, we're actually going to fire... Well, we're going to spread the love around a little bit. Now what I'd prefer to do is flank. So let's get our flank and spank on. I'm going to double rocket from there. I don't know if I want to destroy the ranged guys, I think. We've got a lot of armor on our front line, and I'm simply not concerned enough to worry about the possibility of this guy actually doing anything substantial, so... He's still got a shot left, so let's let him have it. He also has a shot left, but I don't want to waste his ammunition. Let's take a little health off that bike so that it doesn't counter-strike as hard as we think it will. And we've ended with him right there. I feel like there was probably a way... There we go. I'm gonna say, there's probably a way I could end this in one turn, and I probably could have done it one unit sooner, too, but... You know, being Splattercat, being who I am, I tend to... There's a lot of oversight. There's not a lot of undersight, but there's a lot of oversight. Can I repair them this turn? I can. So it's only going to cost 4 and 10 to get them fixed. That leaves me with 34 right here and some mines. Everybody else is looking okay. I think I'm going to try and hit this location from the deep south down here. And I need to repair both those tanks, too. Okay. Well, that'll be that. Let's end the turn. He's still got a move left. Let's see if we can't get him... Oh, it's out of range. I was going to try and get him into a repair depot, but can't do it. 56 resources left there. I think we've just about produced enough units. I really don't want to risk producing anything else right now. I don't know why you would ever produce another mule. That seems like a bad plan. There are 66 resources there to be snatched, so while we've got an opening, I think I'm going to send a mule down to grab those 66 and bring them back up to this line. We'll end the turn. We'll keep an eye on Yurla's doings. Oh wow, they're ready to hit us already. Okay, well let's get everybody back into formation. Our battle line appears to have done the trick. So I'm not mega stressed about it right now. We took almost no damage on that last fight, so that's... I was hoping to get this line... Actually, I don't want to do that. I want you right there. There we go. I was hoping... That's very much my goal, was I was hoping to get this line to the point where it could actually hold off an offensive without losing anybody or taking any big damage. It's going to take 13 to repair that guy. I'm okay with that cost. He has pressing repairs, so maybe we'll get him next. Once he grabs those 66, we'll bring him back up to this repair depot so that that thing can just keep slapping scrap onto the backs of everything that we need. This tank here needs to be in that depot. There he is. Let's repair him. It only cost 8. Not too bad. And I think this is sort of a waypoint for us. This actually wasn't meant to be like a real base to be captured and help us out. Let's start forming up a battle line here and thinking about scouts. I'm going to try and keep him very, very low because this bike is a clear and present danger to us if he gets seen. I'm going to start situating everybody. Let's repair that elite too. I think he got flanked and spanked. That's how he lost so much health. Because his health is definitely looking less than satisfactory. Maybe get some infantry down here to form a line in front of these guys. Infantry in this game, they make amazing meat shields. That's one of those uses that I've noticed for them, that they're just like, they don't take a lot of damage from explosives, so if you're up against an enemy that's using lots of mechanized units, and by mechanized I mean enemies that are using tank shells, enemies that are using machine guns seem to whittle through infantry pretty quickly, but anything that's using a tank shell, these guys can soak the damage like champs. We've got a lot of repair depots over here, and I think that if we take everything over here and we time it right, this could go further back than I expect it to, but God, it looks like this would be smaller, so I don't know if I should go to the north or to the south. The south seems like it has the ability to really put up a fight, but it's not constantly generating units either, which means we don't run into the chance of attrition. I'm going to think on it for a bit. I'm going to sit on it for like 30 minutes, and I'll come back and record the next episode. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here at the Nerd Castle for Battle Worlds Kronos by King Arts Games. It's a very cool little strategy title. I am so glad that I picked it up and that we're able to share it here together. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Take care out there, everybody.